I studied translation and I've never worked as a translator. Why? Why haven't I worked as a translator? Would I recommend people to study this degree? Why? Why not? This will be the topic of today's video. Thanks a lot for your comments, for subscribing, for being patrons, for being Ko-Fi supporters. This helps me a lot. If you're ready, let's get started. You know, when I started studying translation, it actually felt very easy to me, and in a way it surprised me because I always thought that university would be so difficult. But translation was so practical, and I am a practical person. I don't like theory so much. I don't like learning by heart. So it really felt easy and nice, and I really enjoyed, especially at the beginning, you know, working with real text and taking, you know, the meaning from one language to the other. It was all fun and games, and then the interpreting courses came along and I realized how difficult that was. Imagine someone speaking in, let's say, Spanish, and you need to translate it into English, and they're speaking, you're processing what they're saying, translating it in your head, and speaking, right? But while you're speaking, you're also listening to what they are saying next. It's not like they're gonna take a break after every sentence. And that was too fast for me. I have huge admiration for interpreters. I think it's a very difficult job. And even though I speak many languages, I'm not able to do it. That's why I decided to focus more on translating and less on interpreting. But to be honest, over time, I realized that it was a little bit boring to me. So I could translate a text for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then I was like, yeah, well, that's the result here. I don't know, it's just a text. And at the end of the day, I thought, I don't know, I feel like it's really boring. And I couldn't see myself doing this for 8 hours a day. And to be honest, I also heard that, you know, translating jobs are not that very well paid. Of course, if you're an interpreter, you know, the pay is a lot better. But I think it's also something to consider when you're choosing a career, whether you're going to be able to make a good living out of it or not. And I realized, well, if this was my passion, if this was something I was like burning for, like, yeah, I love it, I'm having so much fun with it and so on, then fair enough, I could do that job. But if it was already something I was getting bored about during my studies, imagine doing this for like 35, 40 years. I felt like, no, I don't think this is what I want to do. If you also find translating time-consuming and boring, why not try Immersive Translate and see if it's free? Immersive Translate is a free AI-powered translation tool and browser extension that is already helping more than 10 million people break language barriers. What's incredible is how seamlessly it integrates into your workflow. Instead of copying and pasting text into a separate translator, you get real-time translation of websites, PDFs, and even subtitles on platforms like YouTube and TikTok. Imagine reading a foreign language news article with both the original and the translation side by side. You don't have to go and paste it in another tool. You have it on the same page. If you're chatting with international friends, you can translate text directly within input boxes on platforms like Google Search and ChatGPT, enabling bilingual conversations. And for all you manga and comic lovers out there, Immersive Translate has you covered. Because as you can see, they even support translating manga on sites like Pixiv and MangaDex. It covers over 100 languages and it works across multiple devices. So you can even set it as your default browser on your phone for seamless web page translation on the go. Plus, you have access to various AI engines like DeepL, Google Translate, or even OpenAI, which helps you with advanced context-aware translations. And it even works on images. There's the free and the pro version. While the free version actually includes most features, if you're interested in a more specific premium approach, then you would need to upgrade to Pro. If you feel like you would like to try out Pro for free, you can do so by using my codes below. There are only 5 of them. First come, first serve. Check out the link in the description below and see for yourself how easy it is to break those language barriers. I think there are 3 main reasons why I've never worked as a translator. 2 of them I already mentioned. On the one hand, I actually found it too boring to be doing this for 8 hours a day. Of course, you know, you have to work at something. So if you find everything boring, well, you need to, you know, do a job. But I was like, well, I don't think this is like my first choice. Then the second reason was that it's not very well paid. If you're an interpreter, it's actually very well paid, but like I mentioned, I wasn't good at it. So I could have only worked as a text translator. I could have expected to earn more, for instance, if I was specialized in legal text, but you need an extra certificate for that. So even if I wanted to do that, I would have had to prove that I was able to do it. And I wasn't interested because those legal texts are even more boring, to be honest, to me at least. And so I was like, okay, on the one hand, it's boring, and on the other hand, it's not that well paid because I'm not that well specialized. And the third thing was that during my studies, we never actually use the tools that are used in the translation industry. And so when I was looking for jobs, if I ever stumbled upon an offer related to translation, in the offer it actually said that you had to be familiar with those tools, which I had never used before. And I thought, okay, how am I ever going to find a job if I don't know the tools that are needed, and I'm supposed to know them, but I don't, and I don't know. But I actually don't regret my studies. The best part of them was that I got to go abroad. I was a semester in Brisbane, and it was a huge, life-changing experience to me because I was like 18 or 19 by then. And it was my first time on my own, and it was an amazing experience. And this was only possible thanks to the studies I took, in which they kind of forced us to go abroad for a semester, which I think it was amazing. So would I recommend studying translation now? People think a lot about what to study, and I was also thinking a lot about it before choosing, and I was afraid to choose something that I then would not like. And it actually happened, but here I am, I survived. And you can study something and then work as something else. Of course, it depends really on the area of expertise, and it's best to choose something that you feel aligns to your interests and skills. But some of you will choose something and then work as something else, and that's fine too. I mean, there's of course the elephant in the room. There's AI translations right now that are really, really good. They're getting better. I remember 15 years ago, Google Translate, it was really a joke. It was really bad. And now, these whole AI tools are great. They're getting better and better. And I think you can ask the question, well, will there be any translators in the future? I think there will always be some areas where they will still be needed, like maybe for legal texts or similar things. But yeah, I think it's obvious that there won't be as much need as there used to be. And but should you decide against those studies for that reason? Because right now, a few years ago, everyone said, hey, you need to, study to be a computer scientist or, a software developer. And now we're starting to hear, well, maybe there will not be so many needed in the future because, AI is also taking over that area. And so if you chose solely because of career options and you chose that option that 5 years ago was hyped, and now is less hyped, and who knows what will happen in 5 years, then you'll be frustrated because you'll be like, hey, I chose a safe option. And the thing is, there's no safe option. And so we don't know what will happen, really. So what I mean is, don't choose only based on your fear. Also, maybe don't choose based only on what you like. I think there's a combination of all of them, and it will depend on your life situation. I don't regret having studied translation, even though I then never ended up working as a translator. It was a fun time. I think it helped me in many ways. And, I have a degree and I can work as something else, and that's fine for me. And what do you think about it? I would love to see your comments below. Don't forget about my pro codes. You will find them down below, and hope to see you very soon. Bye bye.